All right, welcome to a Nosebleed Perspective. I'm joined today by Cheech down at the bottom there. And first off, just want to welcome back our third part of the Nosebleed Perspective crew, Gibby, his first episode as a dad. Give it up for Gibby. Come on.
Ooh.
Congrats.
Yeah, man. How's it like? How's it being a dad right now, huh?
Yep, figuring it out as I go.
Hey, can't wait. All right, well, I appreciate you guys for coming on, even though it's midnight over there when we're recording. So I appreciate that. Today we got an NFL college football episode. We're going to kind of just join both of those sports, talk a little football for you. Before we start, make sure you guys, subscribe to the channel, like our videos, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and we're on Spotify. Catch our podcast on there. And we'd appreciate that. So, all righty, we're going to go ahead and start with the NFL. All right, so Jacksonville Jaguars. I think we all know that ownership just hates that team. Just wanted to list a few players that have not been retained since their appearance during the AFC Championship a few years ago. It was not long ago when that happened. So we had Leonard Fournette. Obviously, we'll kind of talk about him in a minute. Jalen Ramsey, Dante Fowler, underrated outside linebacker who, I don't know, it was a big loss. AJ Bouye, the other counterpart to Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
Blake Bortles, he's back up now.
That's fine.
Yeah, they could live without him. Yannick Ngakoue, I don't know if I'm butchering that name. Calais Campbell, just a beast on the D-line. Allen Hurns, Allen Robinson, we all think that we're all pretty high on him. He's just been in unfortunate situations, we think. So that's a lot of players. It's a lot of talent to lose. Obviously, they were good enough to make the championship game. Where do you guys think they go from here? Gibby, what do you think happens next, starting with 2020?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head about how ownership it's just a poorly ran organization. I think they're hurting for money. I mean, they have $34 million in cap space right now after all these trades. So there's some guys in free agency that we talk about every week that they could go get, but I don't see them spending a dime of that. I think this is kind of, especially with no fans in the stands, I think they really try to save up and just see what they can do. But I think down the road that this team could be okay. They want to find out if Minshew Nation is their guy because that's kind of been the formula for winning is winning with a rookie quarterback and building an expensive team around it. So if he is the guy, they got all these draft picks to sort of build around him. And I don't hate their defense with young guys, Miles Jack, Joe Sherbert in the middle. And then you got Josh Allen and Clayson Chasen from LSU, good edge guys. And then, they got CJ Henderson. So I think they're trying. They're just a couple years out.
Yeah, they're cleaning house. And like you said with the money thing, I mean, the Jags, their entire franchise is just it's a dumpster fire in my opinion. They rely on playing those games in London because
for sure.
a lot of their revenue comes from that. This team is just absolutely it's in shambles. I think that ownership on down just needs to be instead of cleaning house on the team, they need to clean house on management. Because like you said, you mentioned some great players that are on this team, some great prospective players coming up. Gardner Minshew, he might be the face of this team in the future. He might not be. I don't know if he is. I don't know if he's that talent. But this is a team that if it ends as the worst team in the NFL would benefit heavily from a dude like Trevor Lawrence coming up. So I think the Jags are. I mean, they're rebuilding. This is going to be probably a 6-year rebuild. Blake Bortles got them to that AFC Championship game or NFC Championship game.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, it's amazing how quickly a team can turn like that. I don't even think the Jets turned that quickly after Mark Sanchez took them there. So it's embarrassing for the Jags. I feel bad for their fans, but I don't know. Maybe they have a plan.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just essentially do have to clean house from top bottom. They do have some pieces on defense, like Gibby said. And during the draft, I think they drafted pretty much just all defense.
Yep.
So it's a good young well, as far as we know, it has the potential to be a good young defense. But when you think about the Jaguars, think about the dude with the headband, the sunglasses, the jorts, and the mustache.
Yeah.
That's what you think of. So we got to see how he does. I think he doesn't have a lot of pressure on him because from everybody's perspective, they've cleaned house already and they've lost all their talent around him. So I don't think he has a lot of pressure this year, so he can go out and just do his thing. And obviously he wants to keep that starting job. So we'll see where the Jags go from here. On that, like we talked about, or we mentioned Leonard Fournette. As of yesterday, he signed a deal with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Just wanted to know if you guys had any thoughts on that. Tampa Bay signed him. They have Ronald Jones, Rojo himself, LaShawn McCoy, not Shady J. I think I've said that twice now. Yeah. So they got a kind of a crowded backfield now, and the rookie they drafted, right? So just interested. My thoughts on this. I'm not sure how this affects the team too much because he is a running back who needs to get a lot of touches, in my opinion, to keep going and wear down a defense. And I'm not sure he's going to be able to just get the ball, all the time. He proved he can be a 3-down back and run the ball and catch the ball out of the backfield last year. So what do you guys think about him in Tampa Bay?
I don't think Fournette is a very good running back at all. I think he's great for fantasy just because he gets the volume, and that's what you want. You don't have to be spectacular to be a great fantasy running back. But interesting little tidbit. Last year, he had 75 carries on first downs, and he averaged 2.2 yards per carry on the first down. Of them 75 attempts, he only broke a tackle on 4 of them. So he literally runs, first guy takes him down. And his O-line, his interior of the O-line for the Jags is pretty good. So I don't think it's that. I just don't think that. I mean, I think you have to grab him if you're the Bucks. What if Jones does what he did last year and just sucks it up? So I think it's more of an insurance policy than an upgrade for the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Rojo is not trustworthy. LaShawn McCoy is old. He's 32 now, 33.
Yeah.
And then I was a believer in Keyshawn Vaughn going into the season until they picked up LaShawn McCoy and now Leonard Fournette. I think that the Bucks absolutely needed Leonard Fournette because of I think that even though Bruce Arians is saying that they trust Rojo and that he's their guy and this and that, that's what the captions are saying right now. I don't believe it at all for a second. I think that Fournette, come week 1, is going to be the RB1, standing behind Tom Brady. But so I think that it was a good pickup for the Bucks. It was just kind of a surprise because of how much belief they have in Ronald Jones. But we'll see what Fournette does down there.
I think if anybody's happy at it, from this, it's got to be Fournette himself, just because, I mean, dude has just not been in a winning culture for a while. When he was at LSU, obviously you're expected to win. You probably go into practice every day thinking, oh my gosh, all right, we're about to, win this Saturday. We're gonna be great. And then, it goes to Jacksonville. That's just not the case the past couple of years. So I'm sure he's kind of stoked about it. Maybe a chance to prove himself, try to chase a ring and get paid the year after somewhere. All right. So sticking with the NFL, after a contract-related holdout for a few days, the Saints have mentioned that they are open to trading for running back Alvin Kamara. Sean Payton did say that he thinks he'll be there week 1. So, I didn't know what you guys thought about this. Do you think that he is going to be their starting running back? Do you think he still holds out? Do you think someone, offers a trade for him? Cheech, what are your thoughts on old Alvin Kamara holding out right now?
This was absolutely shocking to me that the Saints said that they were open to trading him. I did not see that coming whatsoever. I understand the guy wanting to get paid and holding out. I mean, almost every running back does it. Joe Mixon was saying that he had migraines up until he got his contract extension earlier this week. So, every running back wants to get paid, especially when they're seeing Zeke and CMC, just the contracts those dudes are getting. Alvin Kamara obviously is a top guy that deserves to get paid. For the Saints to just say that they're open to trading him, is that them saying that, they believe that Latavius Murray can be the guy too. Like that's because Alvin Kamara is a very good running back. He can catch, he can run, he can break tackles. He's fast. He's elusive. He's a great running back. So for them to just be okay with it is absolutely shocking to me. I like the Saints. I like Alvin Kamara on the Saints. So I'm hoping that they they get they figure it out and they pay the guy because he deserves to get paid.
It's a good point, but I think the Saints kind of have the leverage right now in a way because they've kind of proven that they can win without him. They have Latavius Murray, you throw Taysom Hill back there, whatever. But I mean, you need Kamara to make a championship run. You need someone like that because they don't have an average guy who can do the things that he can do. I don't know if that makes sense. They don't have like a Damian Williams who's not, Kamara talented, but Latavius Murray can't do all the things that Damian Williams can do that he did for the Chiefs last year. So sorry, go ahead, Gibby.
So for me, I'll take from Kamara's standpoint, he's got to sit out and got to get paid because this was his draft class, and these are all the guys that have either already got paid or are sitting out and need to get paid. Leonard Fournette, he's going to be a free agent this year. CMC just got broke off. Dalvin Cook sitting out. Joe Mixon just got broke off. Kareem Hunt, someone's going to pay that man this offseason. James Conner's a free agent. Marlon Mack, Aaron Jones, Chris Carson, Austin Eckler got broke off. Corey Clement, he has to sit out because if he goes in free agent, he's not going to get paid. So from that standpoint, he has to sit out. From the Saints, trade his ass. I've said it since day one of this show. I'm not a believer in running backs. Anybody can take that spot. Get rid of him. Here are the teams that pay top running backs. I don't think any of them are Super Bowl contenders right now. Panthers, Cowboys, Jets, Texans, Titans, Cardinals, Broncos. Cool. Keep paying your running backs. Keep being mediocre.
Yeah, Jets.
And the Rams, we're still paying Todd. So. All right, so the Kansas City Chiefs just extended Andy Reid. Gibby, you happy with this? I think he's earned it. He just won a Super Bowl. What do you think about this?
Yeah, so I think it was like a week after the Super Bowl. I told you all I was hoping Andy Reid was going to retire because I'm a big Bellany fan, the offensive coordinator. But when you look at it, ever since Andy Reid's been with his team, he averages 11 wins. They've won 4 AFC West titles in 7 years. And then he's about 3 seasons away from being a top 5 winningest coach of all time in NFL history. So good for the Chiefs organization to lock him in. Unfortunately, I think that means Bellany's probably gone after this season or next, and he'll hopefully be a head coach somewhere and be successful. But, happy for Andy. But I was surprised that he wanted a long-term deal because his health isn't the best, as you can tell the way he's walking around and how fat he is. But if he wants to keep coaching until he's 70, good for him.
Big cheeseburger guy.
Yeah, I just feel like it was a no-brainer. I mean, if he walked into ownership's office and said, hey, I want to keep coaching, I mean, it was a no-brainer to give him an extension. You don't let your coach walk after winning the Super Bowl. So that's all I have on that.
Maybe that offensive coordinator goes to Jacksonville next year.
Maybe
not. All right, Los Angeles Chargers got a tough break here. Derwin James for a second season in a row. He's going to be out for 6 to 8 months. I just feel bad for Derwin. He's a great all-pro potential in the secondary, I think. But it's just another major injury for him. And it sucks because, what do they do when he's due to get paid here next year, I believe, or year after?
Years.
Yeah, a couple years. I still think that Chargers secondary is still above average, but I just hate to see it, man, because he's electric on the football field. So, just sucks. Cheech, you have a?
Yeah, I mean they took him 17th overall 2018, and he's just injury. I mean, it's tough you can't build with a guy who is missing out on the season year after year. So it's a tough break for the Chargers. I mean, obviously they know the talent that he brings to the team. So I think that whenever it's time to give him a contract, he's probably going to get it. But it's just tough for him to ask for like big time bucks when he hasn't made it through a season.
Yeah, I think you all both hit it on the head. Like, I think their secondary is fine this year, but I'm not a believer in the Chargers or win right now. So maybe for the future, if they can get him healthy and figure out what's going on, it could benefit him because or benefit the team, not him, that they are going to pay him a lower price because of the injury concerns. So, but that could also mean that he leaves for free agency. So it's going to be tough. It sucks whenever a talented guy like that gets hurt, but it's part of the game.
Yeah, especially when you got Budda Baker making as much money as he's making.
And never had an interception in his career and got broke off.
It's tough. Yeah, I think we kind of hit on that last episode too. It was very shocking. But I guess you pay who you need to and want to pay when you have a rookie quarterback, or a rookie contract. So, all right, Joe Mixon, our last topic for the NFL. He just got broke off 4-year, $48 million contract. Gibby, do you think, I know you hate running backs getting paid, but I was wondering if you thought 12 mil was, too stout or too much, or was it just right for the situation in a place like Cincinnati where there's no talent around? Still no? He's shaking his head no. So I don't even know if you want to say anything.
Don't pay a running back.
Okay, I'll be a little less biased on it. Joe Mixon has proven that he is a good running back. He's just on a really bad football team. Like I said, also, he was missing practices, claiming a migraine up until he got paid. So he was definitely holding out without saying he was holding out. The Bengals management obviously knows that they need Joe Mixon, having a rookie quarterback in Joe Burrow. They need Mixon to be there to help him grow. So I think that it was a no-brainer to pay him. I think that this pays him enough for how good he is, but he's also getting paid less than Zeke and CMC and all those dudes because of the team that he's on. He hasn't had a chance to actually sign. I think that Joe Mixon on the Cowboys is a $16 million a year running back. But Joe Mixon on the Bengals, he's a $12 million running back.
I mean, who else? I mean, I'm sure, I don't know what their cap space is, but who else do they have to pay right now? Like, it's just like, you might as well satisfy someone who's something on that offense, I guess. I am more of a believer, these days, like on Gibby's side, with don't pay these guys. But in this situation, for me, it's just like that money. You spend your money, you have it. Yeah. It's like, but
make the fans happy. Like that, at this point, they're just making the fans happy by paying him.
Yeah, you have. I mean, something that they're not excited about AJ Green anymore. Tyler Boyd is just kind of he's like a receiver out there who also lines up next to AJ Green. John Ross did not, pan out at all. He's just hurt and fast and has not proven himself. O-line trash. Everything's just like, why not? So
yeah.
All right.
Make fans happy.
Okay, so we're gonna finally get to talk about some college football for the first time. So this is exciting. College football kind of starts, I think, Labor Day week. I think Navy and
next week. Oh yeah.
Oh, there's like one game on Labor Day. I think it's Navy and who is it? It's a Power 5 school, but whatever. Yeah, so a couple things. We all know the Big Ten is kind of, and the Pac-12 have, said they're going to not play football this year. The Big Ten is very wishy-washy at this point. They kind of want to play, but they're like kind of scared because they have already mentioned that, we're not going to play. Donald Trump called the Big Ten commissioner up and, allegedly had some productive talks to get their season going again. I'll lead this one off just because, first off, I just want to list a couple states here. Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan, Ohio. You know what these states have in common besides all being in the Big Ten? These are swing voting
states.
Yep.
Nice.
And I don't mean to get political at all because I don't really care about it, but Donald knows what he's doing.
That's
we know
smart, man.
At this time, though, he's trying to get those swing votes, and you got to respect it at some point, at some level. I think at this point, though, Big Ten fans, especially Ohio State fans, Michigan fans, if you have Ohio State friends, Michigan friends who are all fans of those teams, check on them. Make sure they're okay, because this is like brutal. This is detrimental for them. So hopefully they can get this season. There's been talks about starting up in the fall after Thanksgiving or whatever, but man, just dark days for the Big Ten.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, that was great, Logs. I don't have anything to follow up on that. It's a great point.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
Yeah, just the fact that the president of the United States, the leader of the free world, is calling the commissioner of a college football conference to say, hey, you boys got to play. And I mean, it's very interesting that he, like you said, that he went after the Big Ten, because the Pac-12 is full of blue states. So Trump is all about the Pac-12 just not playing. He doesn't really care.
Chalk him up as a loss.
But he needs this Big Ten.
I thought it was interesting. Gibby, you have anything else to add? Or
No, I just remember it was back when Obama was president, how outraged everyone was that he would fill out a bracket every year. They're like, oh my God, this guy takes 10 minutes out of his whole presidency to fill out a bracket. And now we got a guy like I said, we don't really get involved in politics. I just see the funny sides of things like that.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. All right. So another conference, the AAC, the American Athletic Conference, Commissioner Mike Oresco says he thinks his league has an opportunity to go out and prove themselves this year, and think they can play with the Power 5 conferences with 2 Power 5 conferences out. He's saying they're the 4th one, and I think he wants to earn a little respect on his conference when you have teams, national champions, Central Florida down there. So what do you guys think on his comments? I mean, obviously you're missing those conferences, so who else fills that, next spot outside the ACC, Big 12, and SEC? But Gibby, I don't know. What do you think?
It's easy to say that you would be that you're going to fill these shoes when you don't have to play you don't have to play the Big 12. You don't have to play the ACC. You don't have to play any schools from the SEC. Like, there's no interconference game. So it's easy to say, oh, we're the 4th best conference in the league. Well, I mean, there's no way we can tell, because you don't have to play anybody. So it's a lot of talk with nothing to really back it up.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of AAC schools in the top 25 that do not belong there, aren't going to belong there, and it's going to give this guy a lot of clout. And I look forward to when conference or like interconference games come back next season, and Mike Oresco saying, hey, we want to play Bama, we want to play Oklahoma, we want to play Clemson, and then they just get put in the ground, because that's what's going to happen. They're gonna be the top 18 through 25 is going to be littered with AAC schools this year. And then next year, the conference and every school that plays in it is going to be put in the ground when they play real schools. Mike Oresco, you need to shut up.
So real quick, so they did like a preseason top 25 with all the conference, all the Power 5, the Big 10 included, the Pac-12 included. Central Florida and Cincinnati were in the preseason top 25. So I think we should just kind of keep an eye. So, because like, how many losses do they get then if they're only playing in conference and you're preseason top 25, including the Power 5? I say they cannot lose like more than one game, a close game, if you're just in that conference. But
yeah, Cincinnati was 11-3 last year.
Cincinnati's always had like a good program, not great, but Travis Kelce right there.
He kills.
Yeah. All right. So Spencer Rattler named the starting quarterback over at Oklahoma. Cheech, our Oklahoma correspondent down there. Any chance he comes close to filling the shoes of Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray?
I don't think so. I think that I mean, he obviously has to have balls the size of basketballs to even want to go to Oklahoma as a quarterback after having the 3 quarterbacks that they've had for the past few years. I mean, yeah, like it's unreal the lineage of quarterbacks that just passed through Oklahoma. He's got gigantic balls. I think that the program over there is going to do a good job of developing him, but we're not going to see. I don't think that we're going to see a Heisman winner out of him like we saw out of Baker and Murray.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had one interesting thing. He's the first, with all of OU's great quarterbacks, he's the first 5-star recruit that they've gotten since 2004. So whenever all your SEC friends come up and say, oh, we won the recruiting class this year, we won this, we won that, just tell them to shut up because it doesn't matter, because ESPN is the worst at grading high school players coming in to college. So, I mean, I wish this guy all the best of luck except for 1 week of the year. But the stars in recruiting just don't mean a whole lot.
No.
I mean, you take 5-star recruit, sit behind Jalen Hurts for a year. If so facto, add that with Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
You never know.
Never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that. All right, and to wrap it up, we're just going to do our favorites to win each of the Power 3 conferences and a dark horse team who can make a run in each one. Gibby, you want to lead us off? And let's start with the SEC since, you know.
All right. So for the SEC, my favorite to win it this year, I got Florida. You know, they got a stout defense, a lot of guys returning. They only averaged 2 touchdowns a game last year. So, and their cornerback duo, even though they, you know, lost a big guy in the draft, is still one of the best in the conference. And then my dark horse team, I'm going with Jimbo Fisher, boys. I'm going with Texas A&M. You know, I like Kellen Mond a lot, and they got 16 starters coming back. He's finally getting his recruits in there, not playing with other guys' recruits. I look for Jimbo and his team to make a big leap this year in the SEC.
Nice. Cheech?
All right, yeah. So, yeah, my overall winner, I've got Georgia. It's going to be a close conference. That East is going to be good with Georgia and Florida. It's definitely going to be a competitive game when they play against each other. And then Auburn is my dark horse.
Auburn
No
can
real
always be
reason why.
sneaking. No reason?
Yeah, they can always.
No real reason why.
Just gut.
Yeah, just feeling it.
Yep. Hey, I respect that. My team's just Bama. It's just gonna be Bama. I'm just gonna just Alabama. I was hoping you got it's just Alabama, whatever. My dark horse though is Jimbo Fisher's Texas A&M Aggies as well though. Because like Jimbo Fisher, he's a solid coach. He had success down at Florida State. He's gonna start having his recruits start to show up. They had a really tough schedule last year. They played Clemson, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, and Auburn, who were all, you know, really good schools. Yeah, and they had a chance to win like 3 of 5 of those. Like they were in the game. Just look out for Texas A&M to make some noise next year. I think me and Gibby, both kind of biasly, just don't give a shit about that. Like the SEC won't let me be, but whatever. All right, so we'll move towards the Big 12 then. Cheech, what are your thoughts? Who's your favorite to win it, and who's the dark horse team who could surprise you?
So, favorite to win it is going to be Baylor this year. Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
they were a solid team last year. I don't know. I think that that quarterback disparage that the Sooners are going to go through this year, the drop off in, like I said, 5-star recruit can mean anything. There's 100 articles on the internet about all the 5-star recruits that have turned into janitors instead of NFL players. So I don't know what to expect from Spencer Rattler. And Baylor did great last season. So it was a very close race between Oklahoma and Baylor for the conference last year. So I just think Baylor's going to be up there this year. And then dark horse, I mean, they were 3rd in the conference last year, but Oklahoma State, it's just one of those teams that they're always just a little bit competitive. And if the wind blows their way, they can win the conference somehow.
Did we all pick Oklahoma State as a dark horse?
I picked him as a favorite.
Oh,
So I
okay.
guess I'll go ahead and
wow.
go next.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win the conference. I'd be willing to put money on it if you all want to take that. But,
No,
uh,
it was a tough decision. I almost put them there, but I just didn't.
I'm just a big Chuba Hubbard fan. You know, I think he could be the best player in the nation. I think he could win the Heisman. And then, you know, their trio on offense is just unreal. And we all know that not many teams in the Big 12 play defense, and they're one of them. I think they got the second best defense in the league. And continuity is just going to be huge this year, like you said, with OU. You know, they're turning over a lot of guys, and you know the guys that are left, the first 2 or 3 games, they're suspended because of last year's incidents. And normally that wouldn't be a big deal because the first 2 or 3 weeks are throwaway games. But now you're going straight into conference play after week 1. I think they could lose a couple of them games and, you know, still maybe make it to Arlington, but it's going to be tough. My dark horse team for the Big 12 is going to be Iowa State, simply from the fact that they are the best defensive team in the conference. And if anyone plays defense, they can win games. So I think they could make a run at that. And I will never put Texas winning anything. So I went with Iowa State.
Fair enough. Yeah. Oklahoma State is my dark horse team. I wanted to put them as a favorite, like I said, but I think that, I mean, you mentioned Chuba. I don't know if it's Chuba or Chuba Hubbard. And their wide receiver, Tylan Wallace, too, is one of the top recruits at that position as well. So they have some weapons. And I like their schedule, even though you kind of mentioned going straight into conference play, but they don't play OU till week 10. And I think that's ultimately going to decide the Big 12 more than likely, because I do have OU as the favorite who's going to win. And I just, like I said, my little math equation with Lincoln Riley, that high octane offense, I'm not going to distrust any of his quarterbacks that come through a college system in a Big 12 conference who doesn't play defense. So it's just, I'm going to stick with the favorites. I guess it's kind of chalk, but it hasn't let us down in the past, 5 years or so, with the exception of LSU. Anyway, we'll move to the ACC. I'll start us off with this one since it's just so my favorite, obviously, Clemson. I don't think anybody's going to dispute that. Just you got Sunshine Trevor Lawrence down there. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick. He's already proven himself. He could sit out this whole year and more than likely be the first overall pick in the draft next year. But he wants to play football. He's kind of mentioned and tweeted out or whatever. So that's cool for us fans. But yeah, Dabo Sweeney as well. I don't think I have to say anymore. My dark horse, I got to go with the homer pick here. My Louisville Cardinals boys. I love everything about this team. Last year I was kind of on the fence. We won a lot of games we shouldn't have won because before that season we won 2 games and we went completely defeated. We didn't win a single conference game. Got Coach Scott Satterfield from Appalachian State in, and he's really turning the program around. We have a quarterback who's on the best quarterback watch list or whatever. Obviously, not all the teams are going to be playing this year, but this was before that was announced. We have a really good wide receiver who's probably going to go top 2 rounds, I think. I think he's the next T.Y. Hilton. Look out for that. His name's Tutu Atwell. Really like him. He's on that watch list as well for the wide receiver. And we got a really favorable schedule. I do say we a lot, honorary team member. I think it's just whatever. Yeah, we don't play Clemson this year. I mentioned it on an episode before, which is really nice. That's just, you can just chalk that up as a loss. So we don't have that. Our toughest game is going to be versus Notre Dame. So that's, going to be tough. But I think we played them actually last year, first game of the season. We were tied at halftime, and they kind of pulled away a little bit at the end. And I really think that we're not scared to play them. So got a lot of momentum going into the season. That's why Louisville is the dark horse team, and I think we do pretty well next year. So, Cheech, what do you think?
Yeah, same. Clemson, obvious because it's obvious, and Louisville because you talk about them all the time. And I was shocked to see that they weren't playing Clemson this year. So yeah, Clemson favorite, obviously probably going to win the national championship, and then Louisville dark horse.
All right. So, of course, I got Sunshine winning it. Clemson loves God. God loves Clemson and all that round circle. So, good for them guys. My dark horse, I figured y'all were going to pick Louisville. So try to go with someone else. I'm going with North Carolina, and I honestly think they could have one of the best offenses in the country. You know, they're returning 2 900-yard rushers in Carter and Williams, and they have 2 1,000-yard wide receivers in Brown and Newsom. Like, that's a deadly combo to return to college. Like, most of the time, you know, you see them guys leave. So I think it's going to come down to, can they win some games that they're not supposed to, some close games, not turn over the ball, stuff like that. So I'm excited. I'm glad college football is going to happen, however small it is.
Yeah, all our teams are playing, so fuck everything else, you know.
Yeah.
North Carolina will be an interesting team. I think they landed in that top 25 preseason poll as well with every team, Big Ten including. So yeah, they're always kind of tough. They're just a solid team. Well, all right. I think that you guys have any other thoughts on anything football related at all? No. All right. Thanks for watching. What's up?
No, I was to say, just excited. This is the last weekend without football.
Bro, 7 days, less than a week. Well, getting close to right at a week before kickoff. Chiefs versus Texans. It's exciting stuff.
I'm excited.
All right. Well, it's been a Nosebleed Perspective, and thanks for listening. Like I said, subscribe to the channel, like our videos, follow us on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, all that. And, yeah, we'll be back with some more sports stuff.